All right, now let's look at the team that you're going to need as you make that move from 3 million to 10 million ARR, and how that is going to dramatically change as you go on this journey. Here's some data from a good SaaStr post, which looks at 3 million ARR, you're likely to have probably around 30 people in your entire company. Of those, half of them are likely to be in some form of go-to-market function. So we're thinking about marketing, we're thinking about sales, we're thinking about customer success. Out of that, 60 to 70% are going to be in some kind of sales role. Now that might be an SDR, it might be an account executive, it might be an account manager, but it is someone that is customer facing and has got a target. Now that changes dramatically as you scale up to your Series B and 10 million ARR. You're now looking at an overall team size of about 100 people, so an additional 70 on top of that 30. The GTM function has gone from 15 up to 70, a huge increase. And your sales team has gone from probably one core team of 8 up to multiple teams of a total of 40 people in that sales team. Huge different organizational structure, different leadership skills required. Your GTM org at 3 million ARR may look something like this. So you probably got yourself as a founder, as the CEO up at the top. In your marketing team, you've probably got someone that's called a marketing director, marketing manager, head of marketing, someone in that role. And then probably got 3, 4, 5 marketers looking at demand gen, maybe looking at brand, maybe looking at content, and helping that marketing director with their initiatives. In your sales team, you've probably brought in your first sales manager, sales director. You might even have called them a VP of sales, but ultimately they probably need to be a player manager. They're getting involved with coaching and supporting their team and hiring those 8 sellers who may be some early SDRs or business development managers, some early AEs, and maybe even some early account managers as well to sell into those existing customers. And on your CS team, you've probably got a customer success manager, customer success director, head of customer success, looking after 1 or 2 CSMs who are starting to look after those early won customers. Within your revenue operations team, and I call it a revenue operations team, but you might have one marketing operations person who's looking after your marketing automation platform or your HubSpot marketing, or your lead gen. You might have someone that's looking after sales operations. So that could be someone looking after your HubSpot or Salesforce or whatever CRM you're using, helping with some forecasting. But these are probably quite tactical and internally focused people. Now let's look at what that org is going to look like in at 10 million ARR. Now, when we look at some of those leadership roles, they have been increased. Now, these may be the same individuals that you've been able to promote internally, or they may be more likely new hires that you've brought in above who can help scale you, because this is a very different type of organization to the one that you had just a few quarters ago. In your marketing function, you're now likely to need to segment this into 2 or 3 team leads, maybe people focused on some corporate marketing like brand and creative and design, maybe some people focused on the demand gen and the performance marketing. You might have a team of 10 or 15 marketers that are supporting you in there. On the sales side, you've gone now from having one team of 8 now up to maybe 5 different teams with 40 different sellers. And these might not all be AEs. You might have an SDR director with a team underneath that. You might have teams of account executives focused on different regions or geographies or segments. You might have some account managers who are focused on selling into those existing customers. The VP of sales role is a leader of leaders rather than a player manager that we had before. In customer success, we've now got more customers on board. So therefore, we've now got a team of maybe 10 CSMs reporting up into a couple of team leads that report up into a VP of customer success. Within our revenue operations team, we now need to have built out a much larger structure. We probably need a VP of revenue operations who acts as a peer to the founder, but a peer to the VP of marketing, sales and customer success. And they've probably now got a team of 4 or 5 individuals who are focused on data, systems, forecasting, buyer enablement, seller enablement. Now, this is a very different team to the one we had back at 3 million ARR. And this is your reminder from looking at that iconic graph that we're talking about 4 or 5 quarters if we're following the T2, D3. And even if we're not, over 2 years or 2.5 years, we're still having to scale up this team significantly. And if we're not starting on that journey now, then we're already behind. In the next section, we'll look at some of the jobs that you need to be focused on right now if we're going to achieve that transition of your go-to-market function.